And as we are live, I'm here. You're absolutely beautiful. That must mean it's time for GotBot Goes live. Of course, it is Thursday night. I hope you guys are having a tremendous week. As always, I, of course, am your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Smolin, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment. Oh, sorry about that. I hit the leg of the thing that my computer is on, the stand that my computer is on. Like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit the notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Yeah, so we're going to, of course, react to the live stream from Tuesday. We're going to talk about a couple of additions to the Toxitron Wave 2 lineup. We are going to talk a little bit about Newage, a little bit about Dr. Wu, and sort of kind of cover some stuff there. We'll talk a little bit about YOLO Park, some news nuggets, so to speak, for Rise of the Beast, and then we'll kind of get out of here. Plus, a really, really cool door prize for New Jersey Collector Con or Comic Con or whatever it is. Okay, bear with me a moment until I get everything sort of taken care of here and set up for us all. Maybe I can adjust that just a little bit. Let's see. I know you guys are in there. All right. Hey, Joel. Hey, Keldeo. Hello, Deceptibot. Hey, Transformers fan. Hey, Mike. I now work on Tuesday, so I work on Tuesdays and Fridays from here on out. Right on. Well, you gotta work. Everybody gotta work. Hey, Waspinator. Not late at all, buddy. I'm just getting going. Hey, Manitoba. If you're on the road, be safe. Hey, everything's plastic. Everything's plastic, by the way, is a local guy, and you know what? I cover Transformers, and he pretty much covers everything else. honestly, he pretty much covers everything else. If you haven't checked them out, check them out for sure. As we go down here a little bit. Hey, Timmy, Maximal 10. Hey, Raindrop and Lee Bird. Happy that you are here as well. So yeah, we have a bunch of news to kind of get into. Some of it will overlap ever so slightly with a few other things. Naturally, we will do trivia. I will tell you, believe it or not, tonight I actually don't have any pickups. I went around today actually with me and Starscream wife actually went around today and went everywhere. I'm not going to lie. Specifically, I was hoping to snag some sort of a pre-order for that VNR Optimus Prime, but they don't seem to be up anywhere except Pulse yet, which isn't just no, for a plethora of reasons. If it comes out any other way, cool. I'll get it that way. If for nothing else, I think the trailer is great, and I think the head sculpt is great. Do I think that the VNR Optimus is probably going to end up being like Combat Hero Optimus or something at some point, or the G2 Hero Optimus? Yeah, probably, possibly, it might. I think that the Amazon Prime got canceled, so now they're like, what do we do with this? So then on the Holiday Prime, they're doing the VNR one. So it is what it is. The legs look kind of bulky. I guess it's an okay mold. It is what it is. Hey, Big M. Hey, Lance. Hasbro Pulse needs to get the trash compactor treatment. I agree. I don't like Hasbro Pulse. I don't like them triple dipping is all. I'm glad they canned the Amazon Prime. Why are you glad, Keldeo, that they canned the... Like, I'm indifferent. I don't care. I was never going to get it. But why are you glad that they canned it? While I'm waiting for an answer from Keldeo for that, let's kind of get into some of the news. So we saw some more images of the retro Perceptor. I mean, if you know what Perceptor looks like in the cartoon, if you have seen, I'm going to say the Studio Series 86 Perceptor, then you pretty much know the colors and the shades of color that they're going to use for this retro version. Of course, for anybody oddly not in the know, the retro Perceptor is the G1 Perceptor, faceplate and all, being released in the cartoon accurate coloration. I guess it looks cool. I mean, Dude turns into a microscope. You know, it is what it is. If you're into the G1 retros, then neat, I guess. This one, I see it, and I feel like it does Perceptor some pretty good homage, to be perfectly honest with you, because how can I put this? Because when I look at it, even though I got the mask and stuff, like I feel the cartoon bleeding through, right? But I guess that's the point of these retro ones, right? It means it's pointless because it was made as a joke because Amazon Prime. Well, it's not pointless. It would be that Jeff Bezos would get a bunch of money and Hasbro would get a bunch of money because people would be like, ho, 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 Amazon Prime, this is great. I've always wanted one. Personally, I want Bear Boximus Prime. There was a meme some years ago. Dude had a whole like Optimus Prime outfit done of like different like bear boxes as his body. Give me that Prime. Give me the Prime that's a bunch of bear boxes. It's the weirdest thing. It was the worst cosplay. Hey Ash, I'd be more interested in an odd Optimus Prime coloration than the norm. Oh, not me. I don't want any weird colored Optimus Primes. I'm still waiting for one that's I don't have to do any touch-ups on, right? Honestly, the only version of he was going to say something about VNR Prime, but I don't know what it was because he removed it. I want a Optimus Prime. What? Optimus Prime Orbital Bacon? I have no idea what you're talking about, Keldeo. Good evening, guys. Hey, Brian. Hope all is good. Well, it's all right, I guess. Working 7 hours. Ugh! That's rough, man. That's rough. If you got to work, that is rough. I'm started holidays. Sorry, man. Sorry, head say. So we saw some early art for Rise of the Beast. Most of it was pretty much what you would expect. We saw like early, without the texture and the shading and stuff, for Wheeljack and the RC. Most of them look fairly close. The Scourge early artwork is way off. His body's mostly blue, but he does have the elongated neck with the small head that the Studio Series iteration of Scourge uses. I think that looks cool, but I understand the complaint of like the neck is long, the head is small. So I understand why they changed it the way they did for the final film, for sure. By the way, I guess I'll point this out now. There was a YOLO Park tease of a AMK Scourge. Now, AMK is their like cheaper, easier to put together version. For the head and the like upper torso, like from here up that they showed, I think it looks really good. Again, it doesn't transform or anything, but YOLO Park, I mean, they do splendid detail work, like really splendid detail work. So that's pretty cool in and of itself. Additionally, I think it's worth noting that in conjunction with that, YOLO Park also said, hey, we're going to also be, based on some feedback from fans. I like this, a company listening to fan feedback. Go figure. They're going to be doing free upgrades, basically, for their Bumblebee, their Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, and their Rise of the Beasts Optimus Primal. So we've seen those three. We know that they're coming out in the AMK line. Now, there's bigger ones, too. There's like deluxe ones or something, right? Whatever the next ones are. But in their AMK line, yeah, apparently they're offering like free upgrades based on fan feedback. So take from that what you will. But I do like to hear of a company doing it, and then not just offering it, but offering it to you for free. You know what? We made a product. We thought it was the best product. You're telling us here's how it could be improved. You deserve to have exactly what you paid for. I respect that. Honestly, I really respect that. Back to the art. I got off on Scourge there for a second, but back to the art. I think one of the most interesting things is the early art for Unicron. It looks mostly like G1, though the planet itself, because it was only planet mode that we saw, though the planet itself seems to have more of a rough surface, and the ring around seems to only be attached at the top and bottom. The two sides aren't attached, but I think that's where his big mandibles are. There's two big things sticking off the side, but even though it's still a little stylized from what we know from G1 or Unicron trilogy for that matter, I look at it and I'm like, you know what? The maw is there. The ring is there. He's a planet. You got the big chompers. Like, this is obviously Unicron. There is no doubt in my mind that this is Unicron. And I thought it was really cool. So if you haven't seen it, go to tformers.com. That is where I saw specifically the Unicron one. But kind of Tformers and TFW, I saw images of a number of things. Terracons and the Scorponok's and stuff. But to see the Unicron, I saw that on tformers.com, so check it out there. I was going to take a chance and read and probably review. Certainly, I had hoped that tonight I'd have it for you. Void Rivals. However, our local comic store got, I believe it was about 3 copies on Wednesday. I didn't get a chance to call them. No, well, I guess last Wednesday, the 14th. I didn't get a chance to call them until Friday, the 16th. And by then it was too late. They were gone. If they come in, I mean, I'll give it a chance. You know me. I don't think that Transformers translates well into comics. A lot of franchises do. I just don't think Transformers has been one of them traditionally. But right from a fresh start, I'm willing to give a chance to 1 or 2 comics. You know, I tried several times with the IDW run, and I detested everything about it. I thought it was terribly done. It was like a bunch of amateurs doing it. It was sloppy. It was poorly edited. Like I didn't like anything about it. So much so that I'm very comfortable in saying that after trying to get on there about 5 times, it wasn't for me. I do think that Shattered Glass 2 was the single best thing that that company ever did with that franchise. This is brand new. I'm willing to give it another go again. Maybe I will actually like it for once. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have the same gripes here that I've had in the past. Time will tell. I was going to give it a try. If I can still get my hands on it, I'll give it a try because you know what? We got to be fair, right? We got to be fair, or we should be fair. Although I would say a lot of people have not been fair with Rise of the Beast. Fans have either, I think, had far too high of expectations for that movie, considering it's a first part. It's like people don't know that this was only intended to be a first part, even though Lorenzo, the actors, Stephen Cable Jr., like they've all said it multiple times that, you know, we'll see Unicron maybe in 2 or 3 movies down the line, right? Like they are looking at long-term storytelling. I think that the other thing is a lot of people were like, this Optimus isn't even as strong as the Optimus in the 07 movie. Well, he's not as old. He's not the Optimus of the 07 movie yet. This is 1994. It's like nobody realizes this is 94. I don't know. Like, I think a lot of the gripes that people have, I think it's been hurtful to encouraging people to go and watch the film. And quite frankly, this is the best live action film they've done. I've said that consistently. Technically speaking, not to say that other ones don't have more heart, not to say that we haven't had bigger action, but for pure the tenets of good storytelling with a beginning, a middle, and an end, with major event, and they're all linked logically, where you could say, well, why do they do this? Oh, yeah, because of this. Why is this happening? Oh, yeah, because of this. All of that's there. The action you can see. I thought it was very tightly edited, very tightly written. Did it take a lot of risks? No, but I don't think that Transformers is on solid enough footing to take risks. You need safe, successful stories at this point. You absolutely do. You cannot afford to take risks. And right now, as of the last time that I checked, currently Transformers is sitting at about 280 million worldwide against a budget of 195 to 200 million. So it is profitable. It's not in the billion-dollar range yet by any stretch of the imagination, but we've got some wildly stiff competition with, you know, The Flash and Spider-Man and even The Little Mermaid. Like, there are a lot of heavy hitters. I mean, Indiana Jones up and coming. You know, you got that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in August. Like, there's a lot of heavy hitters this summer, and people are going to prioritize because, let's be realistic, I don't know if anything's going to be a billion-dollar franchise at this moment because the whole theater experience just hasn't rebounded. It just hasn't rebounded. We have also seen, speaking of the comics, we've also seen like the comic for Transformers 1 sort of revealed in a couple of times, a little bit by a little bit. There's 5 characters on the cover. So far, we've seen Optimus and RC. I think the RC looks really good. The Optimus looks fine, but I still detest the white Autobot symbols on the 2 shoulders. No, that's not what he's supposed to have. Optimus has 1 red Autobot symbol. I'm pretty sure it's on the left shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't like the white. Then they also showed Cliffjumper. I think Cliffjumper looks very good as well. I think RC and Cliffjumper look very good. So that's at least that's a good thing. Like, that's a good augur of things to come in the comics. I would like to hope. Get that out of the way too. Let's check in with you guys here before I go on a little bit. Optimus Prime is a brand of beer wine? I don't think so. I've never heard of Optimus Prime. I think it's just a play on words he's doing. I don't think it's a real thing, Caldillo. Unless, and if you do, like, by all means, snap a picture of the box and send it to me. I'd be interested to see it. It's not a brand I've ever heard of. Let me put it that way. Hey, perhaps a dog. BNR Prime was originally supposed to just be the Amazon one. Yeah, that's what I said. Optimus Prime could use the Laser Prime mold for the trailer truck store, the beer, and he said, "You're right. He could use that. He could use the Laser Prime trailer. You're absolutely right, Caldillo." Yeah, at least I'm giving it a try. That's all I can do, right? I mean, if I said to you, "It's awful," and people said, "Well, have you ever read it?" and I said, "No," well, then obviously it's it would be me making a declarative statement with no evidence to support it. Like a dude, so funny, a dude this past week had a thing up, and he said, "I'm 90% sure that the deluxe Optimus Prime for Legacy Evolution is going to be the core with a trailer." He was 90% sure. So I asked, I said, "What's the evidence for this? How are you 90% sure?" And some dude said, "He has to justify his opinion to you." I said, "He didn't state an opinion. He made a declarative statement. I am 90% sure. Not I think, not I hope, not I believe." He said, "I am 90% sure." Where's the evidence of that? Newsflash, there was no evidence because the deluxe Legacy Optimus is not the Optimus with the trailer. As a matter of fact, the Optimus with the trailer is in a 2-pack with that buzzworthy Bumblebee that came with that terrible little Spike or Daniel or whatever it was that transformed in one step by tipping him down. It looks like junk. The Bee looks like junk. The Optimus looks cool, but he's tiny. The trailer's still small. I do, however, like that roller comes with it. I do like the all-white stripe on the side. Apparently, this is a Pulse exclusive, and I know I'm jumping ahead here, by the way. Apparently, this is a Pulse exclusive. Not a snowball's chance would I have any interest whatsoever in buying it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't understand the point of mainline full-size characters being in core class. I look at that Bee next to that Optimus and all I think of is it looks absolutely silly because Bumblebee is the same size as Optimus Prime. And it looks, to me, as a G1 fan, I think it looks ridiculous. If you love it, cool, get it. But I feel like if you're going to get it, you're really getting it for the Optimus because he looks cool. I'll give credit where credit is due. And the Bumblebee is a throw in the trash bin. That's how I feel about that. Speaking of Optimus, we saw the Segway go-kart. If you want a Segway go-kart, it's basically a red and blue go-kart, some Transformers branding on it. It has a top speed of 24.8 miles per hour, which is pretty good, actually. And it retails for a cheap $2,299.99 US dollars. So $2,300 US dollars. I mean, I don't know how popular these things are in the US, but I got to be honest, I've never seen any of these in real life myself. I'm sure that they're around. I just don't know anybody with one. Let's dive into a little bit more news about Optimus Prime, but this time it's Transformers 1. We all know by now that not this September, a year from this September, we have Transformers 1, kind of the animated prequel origin-ish story for the relationship between Orion Pax / Optimus Prime and Megatron, right? And it's going to be set on Cybertron. It's animated. Again, this is one of those things this past week. Somebody was like, "How do we petition Hasbro and Paramount to make a Transformers film with no humans?" And everybody was like, "Dude, have you been paying attention for several months? Like Transformers 1 is coming on Cybertron, no humans. Or go and watch any of the shows that they did on Netflix for War for Cybertron, no humans." And you know what I've learned when I read that and I saw that? I thought to myself, that's right, no humans. It was the same thing with the Prime Wars trilogy. And people panned it and said, "Oh, this is terrible. Oh, I hate it." Like, you cannot please this fandom. Everybody used to say that the Star Wars fandom was like brutal. Transformers fandom is getting just as bad, if not worse, to be honest with you. A lot of people give a lot of very uninformed opinions that they state as declarative statements. And then when you call them on it for evidence because you want to report the news to you guys, then people jump down your throat and say, oh, it was obviously an opinion. Then he should have stated his opinion and learned how to use the English language. You're throwing it out there. Don't say it if you don't mean it or if you don't know what you're talking about. I bought Void Rivals 1. Was great, but heads up, the Transformers is more of a tease than integral to the story, at least in this issue. Let's see how the story starts. I mean, here's the thing. Everybody's like, where are the Transformers? Like, long-term storytelling. I've talked about this often with wrestling. Like, everybody knows I'm a wrestling fan. I am not remotely a fan of pay-per-view every single month. The stories are too rushed. They're too fast. They're too shoddy. You don't care about anyone. Everything is just boom, 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 boom. Give me slow. I used to like when they had like the big four, like you had SummerSlam, you had the Survivor Series, you had the Royal Rumble, and you had WrestleMania. One a season. And you had several months in between to build a nice, long, slow burn storyline. You can get invested in the characters. You can get invested in the buildup. And when the match would actually come, you'd be like, holy moly, this has been forever coming. Now it's just rinse, wash, and repeat. Rinse, wash, and repeat. If you like that, cool. I don't, and I never did. Well, some of the negative stuff said about Rise of the Beast probably aren't Transformers fans. That too, but I'm hearing it more from fans, like in fan groups, right? That's what I'm talking about, Caldeo. Rotten Tomatoes audience score, not the critic score, is 91%. Pretty good. There you go. Now, I wouldn't go by any of the Rotten Tomatoes stuff, but I'm telling you, if you sit down and you go in looking for story holes, you're not going to find them. You might say, this could have had more heart. You might wonder how come they didn't spend more time happy about this or sad about that. But also stop and consider how big of a threat Unicron is. The dude is like on his way to eat Earth. He'll eat Cybertron. He'll eat everything. If something makes you happy, you don't have time to enjoy it. If something makes you sad, you don't have time to be sad about it because you have a planet that eats planets coming to eat you. I'm just saying, at the very beginning of the movie, Ape Link, gets taken out basically by Scourge. And I would assume, since immediately after Unicron eats the Maximal planet, I would assume Ape Link got eaten by Unicron. I don't want that to happen. I'm sure you don't. And as sad as things are that occur at certain times in the film, they don't have time to waste on it. Not right now. Worry about it after the threat is nullified. To me, that's right story pacing. Critics score. I wouldn't say anything about critics. Have you ever watched an award show? They pick garbage movies to win awards. Finally caught a live stream. Hey, Raphael. Rise of the Beast is what it set out to be. Good storytelling and a hell of a lot of fun to watch. You're right, Manitoba. It was very simple. Cyberverse had no humans either. That's right. And people hated Cyberverse. And Cyberverse in the very beginning was a bit rough. But as that went on, that became a great series. It's just the storyline becoming really good, I think probably took, I don't want to say too long, but I think they started off maybe a little too slow. Now, I stuck with it. Breaking Bad is well regarded as a fantastic show. But man, that season 1 is a tough watch. And I've often said to people, stick with it. I swear to God that it gets good. And some people haven't said, no, I got 3 episodes in and I just couldn't. I'm like, I get it, but you should have stuck with it because it gets so good later, right? And I think that was Cyberverse's problem. And honestly, the Warrior and the gimmicky stuff being the line that accompanied it early on, I think they waited too late to put out the excellent deluxes. The deluxes and the storytelling of season 2, season 3 should have been exactly where Cyberverse started. Core class characters are mostly just sold as small desk toys, but Legends core class scale has a pretty big market, judging by third. Yes, I guess, but like I don't see the point of a Legends Optimus. I get that there's a whole market for it. I'm a scale junkie. Optimus is not the same size as Bumblebee or Brawn or I don't know, Rat Trap. Like it's just not. So to me, I don't get it. If you do, cool, more power to you. But I think like when I see all of the same size, I think it looks ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I think the only way to do it is to do all your mini bots as Newage or Dr. Wu, being the micro size, and then do the rest of your collection. Maybe the main line being the Hasbro Legends Core, and then you got to go to things like Iron Factory or Magic Square to get the like bigger Legends ones. I think that's the only way to do it. And there's an argument for that. But if you're just going to do all Hasbro and they're all going to be the same height, it looks, to me, it looks absolutely silly. But I'm only one voice. I'm only one person. You do you. I'm just explaining why I don't see the point of it. For all characters. I see the point of it for some characters. Fans are very picky, and they're not wrong about the Prime Wars trilogy being bad. I'll give them that. But it's not saying much. Prime Wars trilogy was great. It was 40 minutes of fun. It was a great story. I don't know why people hate on it. And the Prime Wars trilogy, if you're talking about the Netflix one, when out Prime Wars was the Machinima one, War for Cybertron was the Netflix one. Prime Wars was fine. Yeah, okay, they were only little 5-minute chunk episodes, and yes, it was a bit weird the way that they went, but you put it all together, it's a mediocre 40-minute episode. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The problem with it was that they were trying to stick too much story in a very small time frame, right? And that had it suffer. But again, like I kind of went into the Prime Wars. Maybe I go in with more realistic expectations where where I've done stop motion, where I've written books and stuff, where I have studied English, where I teach it. Maybe I just go in with different expectations than the average person, because I went into Prime Wars and said, these are 5-minute episodes. This is only going to be so good. And sure enough, when I would get to the end of a 5-minute or 10-minute episode, I was like, yeah, that's about what I expected. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what people expect, I guess. Yeah, poor acting, I guess, and writing, but at least Prime Wars gave us some cool figures. I agree. Back when I was a kid in the 80s, I built a go-kart with my stepdad that went 30 miles per hour. Wow, cool. For about $150. Wasn't red and blue, though. Manitoba says, it's funny how much hate the Prime Wars gets, but it was the same series that brought me back after 35 years. I don't know why it gets hate. I really don't. That's one reason I like Triple H over Vince. We started to get back to long-term story. Yes, because Triple H knows the difference. I absolutely agree with you, Mike. Core class is also for those of meager financial means as well. Not everyone can afford $35 or $56 US for a figure, but still want their kid to have one. And you know what, Josh? There's something to maybe be said for that too. But when we talk about it, something like this Optimus and Bumblebee 2-pack, it is a Pulse exclusive, which means they are targeting collectors, because parents might pick that Optimus up. Oh, this is only $6.99 or $7.99. I don't know what the core price is in the States. I only know it here in Canada. But somebody might say this is $6.99 or $7.99. Oh yeah, throw it in, little Johnny. But I don't believe for a second that there are that many parents who are going to say, oh, this 2-pack for $55 US of these two little guys that you got to order from Hasbro Pulse and then pay shipping and stuff. Oh yeah, get that. I don't believe it. I just don't believe many parents would go that far. I think that they would get the in-store one. And if they already got that Optimus, I can see a lot of parents, my parents would have said, you already have that Optimus Prime. I'm not buying it again. I'm certainly not ordering it from a website. I'm just throwing it out there, right? Hey, Bozy. New Zealand. Nice. I appreciate you being here, man. Server started with too much Bumblebee. Then it got better. I agree. My girlfriend, who knows nothing about Transformers, was able to follow and understand Rise of the Beast plot. There you go. That's all that you need. Plus, it wasn't a Bumblebee fest. He got his hero moment. He got his highlight, but it wasn't a Bumblebee fest. The original cartoon gave time to have the audience time to develop a better intimacy with the characters, and it made that happen in the 86 movie. Well, having that 86 movie more shocking. You're right. Here's the thing about G1. Everybody sees it through rose-colored glasses. The writing and the editing in G1 is atrocious. It's horrible. It's so bad. But they do have stories that are excellent, and they do have characters that became very well fleshed out, because before you ever got to a movie, you had 65, 75. You had about 80 episodes before you ever got to a movie. And even the episodes that are bad are Raider and King Arthur's Court. A terrible episode. By then, though, you are invested in a lot of these characters. That was the big trick. Ash is right. You became invested. And that's what slow storytelling does if you stick with it. Earthspark, slow storytelling. Transformers Prime, well regarded as some of the best fiction that they ever did. Slow burn storytelling. Character development. Same with Beast Wars. Slow burn storytelling. Character development. I mean, if you have ever studied script writing or storytelling or English or any of the, like, these are tenets. These are things that people learn to do, right? There is a structure to this stuff, right? Hey, Anthony. That OP&B exclusive is dumb. Should be retail. Now that I agree with Josh. Both of them should have just been put out, and not as exclusives or nothing. Just put them out at mainline retail. Then you can hit the collector market if you want it. But more importantly, then you're more likely to hit that, as you pointed out, that kid market who wants it but can't afford the bigger thing. I like the Machinima Transformers series. It got me back into Transformers. Core class makes no sense because Prime and he's not the same height, right? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. From a collector's perspective, it doesn't make sense. I guess I should have clarified. Unpopular opinion, but I silently thanked Scourge for skewering that banana bot. Oh, man. I felt so bad for Ape Link. But that said, I think it was an important scene for, if nothing else, establishing just how bad of a dude and merciless Scourge was going to be. That's what I liked about it, right? I just got Swoop and Scar. I think he's talking about Bumblebee. He might be talking about. No, he said Banana Bot. He said Banana Bot, Master Far, so I think he's talking about Ape Link. Or maybe no, you could be right. It could be the yellow one. I don't know. Who are you talking about, Manitoba? Ape Link or Bumblebee? Maybe Master Far's right. Maybe it is Bumblebee. Ape Link was a unique choice to use. I agree. All right, let's go on here. So Chris Hemsworth, I said we're going to talk a little bit more about Optimus Prime. Chris Hemsworth said basically that he's a big fan of this. I mean, it's Optimus Prime. How could you not want to be involved in this? He said that he's excited for the project, and he also said that Optimus won't be Australian. Speaking of Chris Hemsworth, he's also been cast as, if you didn't hear, Hulk Hogan in a Hulk Hogan biopic. Right now, that's sort of been in limbo for the last couple of years, and he doesn't even know what's going on with it. So Chris Hemsworth, Thor, Hulk Hogan, and Optimus Prime. What a great career path for him, man. What a wonderful career path for Chris Hemsworth. Similarly, Scarlett Johansson, who is playing Alita 1, said basically that she likes the writer and the director. So that was something that got her on board. And she likes that the film looks nothing like anything that she's ever done before or anything that she's ever seen before. The film is funny with a lot of heart. Now, I find her saying, I've never seen something like this before. Keep in mind that this is Black Widow and Thor. They have been in several Marvel movies, which go big, as we all know. And she's saying she's never seen something like this before. I think that that's a very interesting phrase from Scarlett Johansson. If it was anybody else, I don't think it would hold any gravitas or weight. But from her, considering all of us, considering her role as Black Widow and everything she has seen and experienced in the Marvel movies, very, very interested to see just how unique this is in comparison to her comment. Time will tell for sure. Hey, New Jersey Comic-Con. So New Jersey Comic-Con is coming up. I don't have the details for it. However, if you have a VIP ticket, which I think is $20, each VIP ticket will give you one entry for the door prize. And the door prize is a HasLab Victory Saber. That's a heck of a door prize for your con. Look, I detest how this thing came out. And any of you who are Patrons channel members, you probably followed my victory vlog as I talked about my experience right from first announcement of this up to the bitter end. It is definitely more impressive than I thought. I'm definitely more impressed than I thought I would be with it. I still think it's a little overpriced for what it is. I don't like how it came out, but having him now also means that the only Autobot Maximal leader that I don't have is Big Convoy. I suppose you could say Rise of the Beast Ape Link now. Maybe I'll get an Optimus Primal and like I don't know, do a little bit of white paint here and there and make it Ape Link. I don't know. What do you guys think? Little Primal as an Ape Link for the leader of the Maximals before Optimus Primal. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But if you're in New Jersey or New York, Pennsylvania, around there, I don't know, Maine, New Hampshire. I'm not sure what states are around New Jersey, but if you're in New Jersey or around New Jersey and you're a Transformers fan and you didn't get this guy, man, put your name in for the door prize. What could it hurt? You might end up with a HasLab Victory Saber. And wouldn't that be a heck of a prize to win for free? Toxitron Wave 2. So we already know some of what's coming out in Wave 2 of the Toxitron line that's going to be exclusive to Walmart. We know that we're getting a G2 Dead End, which I do like the colors of. And you know what I realized? G2 Dead End reminds me an awful lot of the Target Master Point Blank with his blues and reds. Certainly puts me in the mind of that character. Also, we know that we are getting the all orange jazz like package refresh. It's going to be a repack from Wave 1. And the green and pink watermelon-y version of Mirage. Well, now added to it is the G2 Laser Cycle, which is actually the coloration for G2 Laser Cycle Jazz. That's a lot of white and green with some yellow highlights. It's very much a color scheme that puts me in the mind of Greenlight, the Fembot Greenlight. You know, it's definitely not the alt mode stuff, but you know what? I could see some people saying, I don't have a Greenlight, maybe getting a 3D printed head or something for Greenlight, popping it on there and making that into Greenlight. I could see that. I could totally understand that. As well, we know that we're getting the Earth mode side swipe in an unreleased G2 color scheme. Now, not the G2 where his head is red and his body is black and, you know, like the red and black are basically changed. No, this is a bright 90s scheme where he's like got a whole blue head and I think blue thighs and hands. And like his main body is like yellow with like, it's like tiger striping or something like across like his chest. It's the wildest looking color scheme. It is not the Siege mold. It is the Earth mode mold. So something to note if you were thinking about getting it as to which mold it actually is. So yeah, the laser cycle, I don't know. I'm not. Here's the thing. If you had asked me when I just had Road Rocket if I would get the G2 laser cycle, I would have said, no, Road Rocket's trash. And then I got Ariel, right? The 2-pack, her. And the mold is splendid for her. This is how this mold is supposed to work. I'm torn. I'm not going to pre-order it. I'm not going to pre-order the laser cycle, but you never know. Maybe I will get it. We'll see. We'll see. Funny enough, Road Rocket is a laser cycle. And the other laser cycle, Road Pig, we don't, which is mostly blue, I think. We actually don't have a release of yet or anything like that. Go figure. It is what it is. So yeah, the G2 weirdly colored yellow and blue side swipe, and I think I said blue streak earlier. I meant side swipe. I'm sorry. And the laser cycle. Weird. Flame Toys for I RC. It's certainly meant to be G1 RC. Seems real stylized to me. A lot of Japanese styling, like the eyes look a little bigger, the face looks a little rounded, the little mouth like a lot of anime characters got. I mean, she's a little more, how can I put this delicately? She's more curvy than angular, if that makes sense. If you know where I'm going with this, I don't know. It's one of those things like, again, I appreciate the detail. The articulation is off the charts, but I'm not comfortable looking at her. It just, I don't know. She's not for me, but I know she's going to be for a lot of people. What else do we have here? Core class Snarl was specifically shown before the live stream or anything. And it's funny, I said that the swoop was the best one, if for no other reason than the swoop got elbows. No, I take that back. It's Snarl. Of that entire set of 6, Snarl clearly the best one. His Dino mode, tremendous, although the head is a bit too close to the ground. Maybe you could adjust the legs a bit to lift the head up a bit, possibly. Robot mode, he has elbows, he has knees, he can score dynamic poses. And then we saw Volcanicus, and I looked at it and said, yeah, that's definitely going to be Dino King or Monstructor. It'd be cool if it was a Monstructor, do them in all wild colors. But I feel like a Dino King would fit more because, again, you have the Dino shells kind of incorporated with the characters. And I talked about that before. You guys know that I have, thanks to our buddy Razor Bear, I have the Fans Project Dino King with his shells. I reviewed them all here on the channel. If you want a kind of a bit more of a better idea of who they are, I mean, by all means, look all of those reviews up. I go over their character in Japan, basically, and their name and their character in the Monstructor group. I think that they'll be given the Monstructor names with possibly the Japanese coloring. That's sort of what I'm expecting. I'll say this, the Volcanicus looks bulkier than the Power of the Primes one, even if much smaller. Looks to be pretty well articulated. Obviously, the goal here was to have the combiner, and the individual bots are, if they work, they work. If they're compromised, they're compromised. Like, I feel like that's the attitude taken with it. I mean, make of that what you will, right? But the Snarl, man, he looks splendid. As good as, like, if the 86 Snarl's tremendous, and it is tremendous, then this one is exactly what I would expect if you took the 86 and shrunk it down and said it needs to be a combiner. I feel like that's exactly what we would get, is the core class. They saved the best for last, no doubt. No doubt they saved the best for last. I already talked about the YOLO Park stuff, so I don't need to do that. Reaction Hyper Steel, Optimus Primal, and Megatron. These are basically clear plastic variants of the Beast Wars, Optimus Primal, and Megatron. The Megatron comes with a golden disc accessory that's unique to the clear one. The Primal comes with like a spark, is the only thing I can call it. It's just a chunk of rounded plastic, basically, but it's a spark. I don't get the point of reaction either, like the Super 7 reaction stuff. Whatever, cool. If you want it, neat. I think that they are Target exclusives in the States. I don't know where you can get them outside of Target in the States. We saw some behind the scene pictures, 2 or 3 pictures of Anthony Ramos dressed in the exosuit for motion capture. There was more to the suit than I thought it was going to be. It's mostly sensors over his body, but there are parts on it that are bulkier. And my guess is that was done to add weight to the arms and legs and maybe even his head, so that as he moves his body will naturally shift with weight, because an exosuit would be heavy, right? It would have to shift with the weight. So I think it was the smart idea than just having stickers basically on his body, sensors on his body. I think having the added weight was a smart idea, because you could see what he could literally do if he was in the suit. I think it was clever. I think it was a clever way of doing it. Let's talk about, actually, we'll go back to that in a second. Tacticon, hashtag and RC is out in the US for EarthSpark. If you don't know what a Tacticon is, it goes on your finger, basically a little finger fighter thing. You know, I guess you could put RC and hashtag on here and be like, hey, we are best friends, yay! And then, I don't know. I don't even know if there are Decepticon ones. I don't get the point of these Tacticon things, I'm not going to lie. But I would like to have a hashtag. Not that hashtag, but I would like a hashtag. I'd like a Thrash. I mean, what's the other guy's name? The orange guy. I can't remember his name now. But, like, yeah, I'd like more of the Terrans. Speaking of Dinobots, Newage showed off their Legend Scale Slag. It is really clean in Dino mode. It is really clean in Robot mode. If you are somebody who is into Core Class and you're like, I need Core Class Dinobots, and I don't want them to combine, and I want to make sure that they have all the articulation they can have, do yourself a favor. Go with the Newage ones, probably. Are they tiny? Yes. No doubt about it. But they're splendidly done. And then the Newage stuff has a good name. We all know Newage is good. We all know Newage is good. This was a gray prototype, I believe. Let's wait till we see color, but I have no reason to think that it will be anything less than amazing because New Age is New Age. Speaking of small and legends and core and micro mastery and stuff, Dr. Wu showed off their Diaclone colored Ultra Magnus. So I talked last week how there was an Ultra Magnus set coming out, cartoon accurate, toy accurate, that could go on the robot. That's the white repaint of their Optimus mold, which they've painted their Optimus mold a billion different colors. Well, now this Magnus armor can also be in Diaclone or Delta Atlas, or sorry, Delta Magnus colors, which is basically a red head. You know, I think it's a blue chest. And what's his colors? He's behind me here. What are his colors? Red and black arms, and like I think like blue on the legs and the chest and the red head, that color. Or pretty much an all black body. I'm like Nemesis Ultra Magnus, I guess you could say. And then I find this interesting. Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, who is in like a dark navy blue on the legs and a purple chest. I'm like, that's Optimus Prime's Shattered Glass colors on Ultra Magnus. The Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus should actually be the Diaclone colors or the Delta Magnus colors, right? So I don't know. I mean, if you like multiple colored Ultra Magni, and you know that Dr. Wu does a great job, I don't know, get it. That's my advice to get it, I guess. And we saw, I'm going to call it a video for Cain or Kane. I call him Kane. I don't know what it is. And Raiden. I don't really care about the last train bot so much. The Raiden was interesting. He's very, very bulky. Really bulky. And the back of him has it is Kibble City on the back. As soon as I saw the back, I said, I'm not sure about the articulation on this guy. I gotta be honest. And then I saw the little video, and like the arms seem like they have a bit of a limitation to the elbow. Like it doesn't look like it goes a full 90 degrees. The legs have a small knee bend, definitely not 90 degrees. I'm like, this is supposed to be masterpiece. Like you're charging a couple of $100 a bot. And it seems like the combined mode is pretty compromised. It seems like they sacrificed the robot and the combined mode to have hyper accurate trains, which might be a thing because I've heard that in Japan, hyper accurate trains are like a huge business. So maybe that's exactly what they meant. Maybe that's exactly what they wanted to do. Speaking of weird things and different countries, we're going to go from Japan now with Raiden to China because we have images of their Rise of the Beast radio controlled or RC remote controlled Rise of the Beast Mirage. And he has some lights and sounds and stuff, but apparently this is being planned for a Chinese market release only. So a Chinese only Rise of the Beast product. I don't know if you're into remote control cars, either get one, I guess, somehow from China. I would say Sir Toys, but that's not a thing anymore. That's done. I don't know. I don't know how exactly you would get this if you wanted a remote control Mirage. It doesn't transform or anything. It's just a remote control car. But it looks like Mirage from the film. And then we have our last two pieces of news. And I think what I'm going to do is do the... is it here? No. I think I'm going to do the trivia, check in with you guys, and then we're going to do the last of the news because I don't have any pickups this week. Here's the trivia. I like this one. But it's a little, this one's not the easiest one in the world. In the Beast Wars Uprising portion of the G1 continuity, who leads the cruel and violent group known as the Destructons? Not Destructicons, not Decepticons, Destructons. Is it A, Brute? Is it B, Medusa? Is it C, Psycho-Chan? Or is it D, Delirious? Is it Brute, Medusa, Psycho-Chan, or Delirious? Take a guess, A, B, C, or D. Timmy's guessing Q right away. Fantastic. Let's go up here a little bit. How far up do I need to go here? Holy schlamoli. B is yellow, so okay, so it was B. Yeah, I was pretty happy when he skewered him as well. Ape Link needed more screen time. Why? He served his purpose. He was there. He protected the planet. He let the Maximals get away. Why did he need more screen time? His character was done. He served the purpose that he needed to serve. He made sure the Maximals got away with their new leader. He was the leader of the good guys, and the main bad guy took him out like that. Like, if you take out the leader of the good guys like that, how serious of a threat are you? I think it was perfect because you had Ape Link there, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess Ape Link is going to lead the Maximals in this movie or something. I guess maybe we'll see it change off to Optimus Primal. And then it just happened because Scourge is that bad of a dude. You know, like that's how I saw it. Like, I saw all of that as character development for Scourge. That was the point of Ape Link being in there, to develop the character of Scourge. And he did a beautiful job of it. Personally, that's, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be nice to see him more fleshed out. I just, I think I would have looked at it and said, we didn't need these scenes. We didn't need this. All that could have went on the cutting room floor. We needed him to serve as character development for Scourge. And you know what? That's what obviously the editors thought as well, and that's what they went with. I do think it's unfortunate that they use Ape Link because now you can't introduce him later on. I think it'd be a cool character to introduce later on. But let's not forget, later on, we still have Dinobot. We still have Rat Trap, right? Let's not forget that we could still have Silverbolt, Tigatron. There's still a lot that we could have. I'm glad that they only introduced a couple here because it means that we still got a bunch more to come later on. I'm excited for it. Chris does have a good voice. Hey, Albert. Hey, NY Hunter. Hey, Jay. I've never seen anything like this. Sounds like an attempt to drum up some hype. And you know what? It does sound like an attempt to drum up some hype, Caldeo. I agree with you. But look at who it's coming from. So either she's going to get egg on her face and be like, why did she say such a stupid thing? Or it's going to live up to it and we're going to say, man, Scarlett Johansson was right. I hope she knows how important of a phrase it was that she said. It was not a throwaway phrase. Victory Saber isn't a maximal. That's true. Bumblebee, yeah, due to color. Okay. There are some Ape Link figures out there, and they have a red and tan. Yes, they do, but like, I'm not going and paying $100 and $150 for an Ape Link that stands on the surfboard or something. Like, I'm not doing that. That would be silly. But like $30, I'd spend $30 and customize something. You know, like, that's the thing. I don't even know the character. Until now, I didn't even know the character. I'm not going to lie. I'm in Pennsylvania. There you go. Finally got SS Scourge. He's great, isn't he, Jay? Scourge is really great, right? I wasn't wrong, right? I do think he's a bit light. I think he could have been bulkier, but he's really good. Europe, I've only seen Victory Saber over here for 400 euros. Whoo! That's pretty wild. I wish they used the animated prowl mold for Laser Jazz. Yes, I agree with you, Ash. Absolutely. I love the G2 colors, says Mike. Especially, I like the G2 colors just because it takes me back to like those late 80s, early 90s. Like the neon stuff and whatnot that I'm seeing this summer is like, man, this is like my early teen years and stuff. It's great. The B cycle is supposed to be Laser Cycle Jazz. The what? I said it was Laser Cycle Jazz, Caldeo. I literally said that it was Laser Cycle Jazz. I don't know if you missed it. Maybe you missed me saying it, but I did say that. But I'm telling you now that they're not calling it Laser Cycle Jazz. They're just calling it Laser Cycle. And I don't think it works as Jazz. Jazz was never a cycle. He was certainly never those colors. That's just one of those sloppy, stupid, idiotic, let's slap this name on because we've got to keep the trademark. But you know who it does work as? Greenlight. And loads and loads and loads of people did not get the Siege Greenlight. So they might have the rest of the fembots. But you know what? Maybe this is a chance, even though they couldn't combine to be Orthea, maybe this is a chance to at least get some version of Greenlight. And arguably a better mold, depending on if you really like the bike mold, right? I don't know why you're saying this, Keldeo. The Laser Cycle Jazz is an unreleased G2 figure, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I said all of this. I don't know why you're repeating what I said, man. Hey, Raindrop, what do I think about Core Volcanicus? I already talked about it. Got Scorponok for Father's Day. Oh, man. What a Father's Day. He's so good. Had to order Black Zarek, right? He's that good. Hey, Mindwipe. Really happy that G2 is getting more love and attention with the Toxitron collection. I think the Toxitron collection is either going to stay on the shelves or it's going to fly off the shelves. It'll be interesting to see. The Spark that came with Primal could also be Starscream Spark from Beast Wars. You're right. It could be Starscream Spark. You're absolutely right. It definitely could be. That's a very good point, Keldeo. I think those Tacticons are ripoffs of Fingerlings. Maybe. I don't know what a Fingerling is. I've never heard of it. The Tacticons are just cute little finger puppets. And the orange one is Jawbreaker. Thank you. I couldn't remember Jawbreaker. Yeah, finger puppets. I'm not spending $10 plus tax for, let's be realistic, a crappy finger puppet. It's not worth it. Just got the Shattered Glass Grimlock. Can't wait till he gets here. I mean, I wasn't able to get it. Simple as that. CDDDD. Yeah, guys, most of you got it right. It's D. It is Lord Imperius Delirious. Yeah, dude has 6 arms. Very interesting. He basically wanted to be a repository for all of the history of everybody on Cybertron. So like so many consciousnesses were downloaded into him that in essence, everything that anyone ever experiences in one of the lifetimes that's kicking around in his body, he's experienced it. Nothing surprises him. Nothing catches him off guard because he has literally, whether it's himself or one of the identities in him, has seen and done it all multiple times before. Brute is just that. Bruton is just that. He's a brute, and he has the Confusion Club. Like, that's his weapon. Then Medusa is basically, G.I. Joe Globulus, like the upper body is man and the lower body is snake. Well, her upper body is robot, lower body is snake. And she has she has arm spikes, and she also has the Medusa beams, which apparently are really strong. And then there's Psycho-Chan. Psycho-Chan is basically a centaur. And here's your G1 connection. Psycho-Chan is the one member of this group who previously, before he and the other 3 got trapped in this dimension, he had tried to kill Cup and failed. So Cup's well aware of this quartet and just how dangerous they are. And they're angry when they break out of their dimension. Yeah, very interesting. Very kind of at a left field, but very, very interesting. Okay, the last 2 bits of news. So we know we have the 86 Brawn coming, and I've been very curious, about how it will relate with this one. And I said, you know what? I feel like it's too big. So I actually went back to the Sunbow chart because that's what they're using. And yes, I know the Sunbow chart is very imperfect. In fact, I often think it's terrible. However, according to the Sunbow chart, okay, we have, will this work? Hold on. Will this work? Yes, it will. And I did not mean to drop that. Okay. So according to the Sunbow chart, we have, as a, say, deluxe offering, I'm going to use Classics Hound. We're going to see him again in a bit. Classics Hound. And just below Classics Hound, we have, I don't have the Huffer out, though I have Huffer here. We have essentially Huffer. This is the Huffer mold. And you can see that he is a bit smaller than Hound. This is about right based on the Sunbow chart. And then smaller than Huffer is Cliffjumper and Bumblebee and Gears and Windcharger. Okay, so those 4 are smaller than Huffer. Okay, so this makes sense. Where does Brawn fit in? Brawn, according to that chart, should actually be the same size as Huffer. So while I think the Legends class works the best for mini-bots, based on how specific they're going, a brawn that's the size of Huffer would make sense. And in images released this week, that looks to be the case. It looks like the brawn is the same size as this mold, which by the numbers, by the math, makes sense. I do think that in vehicle mode, the sides of the Jeep look terrible. Like, what's all that junk on the side? It is not a Jeep door. That's for sure and certain. Yeah, so it was D. It was D. Guys had no idea. That's pretty good. Hey, Daniel. Listen like a pod. Listen, man. Why not do it as a podcast? Why not do it as a podcast? So, yeah, the Braun. It's slated here for August the 1st. We'll see. A couple of things that were slated for August the 1st that I pre-ordered actually moved up to June the 20th. I don't have it yet, unfortunately. I was really hoping I was going to have it for tonight. Maybe next week. Maybe. Fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think the other. What? Maximals. Oh, I don't think the other Maximals are dead. I think they're just. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Air Razor's mistaken. I don't believe for a second that they're dead. Yeah. You may have missed about the Cycle Jazz. It happens. It happens. Did they name him Laser Cycle Jazz on the Legacy box? No, on Legacy box it's G2 Laser Cycle. They're taking the group Laser Cycles and they're applying the name Laser Cycle to the character. So this is just Laser Cycle. Probably because it's being repacked with Orange Jazz. So it would be silly, I guess, to have Jazz and Jazz. So they're just doing Laser Cycle. It was a trademark. Yeah, it was 100% a trademark. Of course it was. They're probably going to find a way to remold that Elita 1 mold into all the other fembots. They might. You could be right. Warren got to go. Take care, Warren. And Kildeo got to head out. That's fine. Can we all agree we saw bludgeon coming from that tire mold? Absolutely. And speaking of which, let's get into the last piece of news, shall we? Which is my reactions to the Fanstream. I've heard a lot of people panning a lot of the Fanstream. First things we saw was Studio Series Mirage and Primal. I think the Primal is splendid. I feel like it's definitely going to be a Voyager Plus that they're going to sell as a leader class. But boy, oh boy, I think he looks really good. I think he looks really good in both modes in terms of screen accuracy. I really, really am impressed with it. He comes with the axe. He has his two swords that look like they're connected with something. And he even comes with the that Energon key thing that they have, which is a really cool accessory as well. I don't think it's going to be nearly enough to justify a leader class price point, but I'm impressed with the look of it. The Mirage looks awful. I think the Mirage looks like the only thing I've ever said this on the live stream on the channel before, but I'm going to say it now. I think the Mirage looks like hot, steaming dog shit. I think it looks awful. Why they would release that, I don't know. The car looks good. The robot is one of the most horrible looking Studio Series molds I've ever seen. It looks zero like Mirage. If you just showed me the robot and said, who is that? And I had no idea who it was, never in 10 billion years would I guess Rise of the Beast Mirage. I think they failed miserably. I think it's an absolute fail. Primal is excellent. Transwarp key, that's what it was called for Optimus Primal's thing. But I think the Mirage is beyond abysmal. And they say more coming in 2024. Hope is better than Mirage because he is not good. Then we get into Legacy. For Legacy, we have the 2-pack of the Optimus and the B. We've already kind of talked that to death. Then for core class, we've had Snarl, who we've also talked about. In the deluxe class, we had Bombshell. And, like, cool, I guess. But he's definitely the most compromised of the three. In robot mode, he doesn't have a gray chest. He still has purple, but I get it. It's going to really have to be purple, especially to time with the other two. And I'm saying this because my other two are up there right now, I think. Are they? Yeah, I think I moved them. Yeah, they're up there. But the piece over his head where I guess the shooter is for his Cerebro shells, that piece that goes over his head, I feel like comes down over his forehead too far. Like it looks too rounded and over his forehead. I feel like it should be back up off his head a bit more. And I don't know if it can push back any further than what it is in the images and stuff we saw or not. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can. So I'm not, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I feel like he's going to, I think he's going to be solid. I feel like he's going to score well. See if it's right when he comes. I feel like he's going to score well for transformation and articulation. I think that his suffering point is going to be look, accuracy. It's definitely bombshell, but I don't know if it's as accurate as the other two. We'll see. We'll see when the time comes. We also had Shadow Striker, and I get it. Everybody's like, this Shadow Striker looks terrible. It's awful. It's obviously RID Sideburn. But you know what's really weird? Her like indigo and red color scheme is really talking to me. I don't care about Sideburn. I've reviewed the original. Actually, I think I reviewed the super one that's red. I don't care about Sideburn. I don't really want it as Sideburn, but I think I might get it for Shadow Striker. Not because it's the best mold for her. It's obviously not. But I think I really love the coloration. And I think that's enough to win me over. I'm not sure yet. I'm still on the fence, but I'm leaning toward getting her. And trust me when I tell you that very much surprises me. And then, of course, we have Strong Arm, right? Everybody said, her head is so big. I don't feel like her head is any bigger than Alita's. To be fair, I think Alita's head is also too big for this mold. But, you know, to each their own. I think that this is a great mold. There are some differences because the back end needs to be molded to become a truck now instead of just the car that she is. So it's a little bit different there. It's not really what I expected. I thought that would probably be a new mold. I don't think that enough has changed on it to really make it stand out. It's just her repainted with a head and some molding on the back. But that said, it's a case of if I had the original, I don't think I would double dip and buy this one. But since I don't have the original, I reviewed it, but I don't own it, I might actually get this one. I don't know. Oh, and then we had Detritus or Detritus or whatever his name is, the Junkion who's a mercenary. And some people said, I'm really angry that he doesn't have a mercenary symbol. When he first came out, much like the case with Double Dealer, he didn't have a mercenary. The mercenaries flipped their allegiance to Autobot or Decepticon, depending on whoever was paying them the most money. In fact, if you look at the Earthrise Double Dealer, he doesn't have a mercenary logo either. He has a Decepticon in one way and an Autobot in the other, and then nothing in the third. This guy's same sort of thing. In robot mode, there's an Autobot one on his shoulder. In Jeep mode, a Decepticon one is on his hood because he switches sides. Now, a lot of his lore says, you know what? He's known to change the tide of battle to the side that he's aligned with. But what nobody really knows is that he usually waits and chooses his side when he sees that there's already going to be a clear winner. And he just happens to be on the winning team. I think that mold looks good. I wasn't sold on the Siege mold, which is why I kept this guy. Love this guy. This is a great, great, great hound, even to this day. I want to get the new one. I almost want to get it as Detritus first, because if I only kind of like it or don't really like it, then I'll say, cool, I got the mold and I got it for him. I don't need the hound, the buzzworthy hound. I'm cool with this one. If I get it and I love it, then it might be enough for me to say, you know what? I think it's time to replace this guy. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then finally, we have, oh, by the way, the VNR Optimus. I haven't seen any pre-orders for it. Slex Antagony. I think that's a pretty cool one going up. What can I say? The Inferno, the Legacy Inferno mold is excellent. He scored so well. Make that black with some purple highlights and give it the alternate like transmetal head. Boom. Antagony. Antagony wasn't in the show. I don't care about the character. I mean, I'm not going to go putting in pre-orders and stuff and looking for it. Input said that he figures either that it's going to fly off the shelf or it's going to rot. I think it's going to rot. I don't think anybody knows who Antagony is. Not enough when it's inside a plain brown and black box, which is what Slex does, that people are going to be drawn to it. I think they're going to say Antagony. I've never heard of that character in past. We'll see. But if you're in for it, or you know the character, or you really want it, or you didn't get the Inferno mold or something, get it. It's a tremendous mold. Really tremendous mold. I have the Inferno, so I don't know if I need it again, but it really tremendous mold. And lastly, Trash Master Voyager. Oh, baby, I love it. 100% in for it. I don't care about the weird dinosaur combiner thing. I'm not doing that trash. Get it? Trash? I gotta believe, like Input said, I gotta believe, man, that this is gonna become an animated Wreck-Gar at some point, right? Right? That would only be the logical thing to do with this. And then, as was pointed out earlier, we are going to be getting Bludgeon. I have the RID 2015 body type because I got it for Shock Blast. Was that his name? And I do have it for Bludgeon, but it's not my Bludgeon. It belongs to one of the Scraplets. This is my Bludgeon, which I got for $3 complete. This is tremendous. This is the Reveal the Shield. And he is great. The new one is based on this. And people have said, why is it turn? It's so funny. Everybody defends the IDW comics like they're the holy grail of Transformers fiction. Does nobody realize that is it Alex Milne Bludgeon is exactly this? This is the Alex Milne Bludgeon. Or is it James? I don't know the guys. It's yes. I think using this for Bludgeon makes perfect sense. It's very accurate to the comics. This is a tremendous mold, very well articulated. It works excellent for turn, and it's going to work excellent for Bludgeon. Do I need it? I don't know. I got to compare my turn and this guy closer. And I got to see. Time will tell. For now, though, we're going to lay this guy aside. And I'm going to say to you guys up here, let's see. Side-eyeing, such heroic nonsense 2-pack. I don't know what that 2-pack is. I don't know which one does such heroic. Oh, the such heroic nonsense. The Ironhide and the Prowl. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know why they done it that way, Trends. Bludgeon seems kind of mid. Nothing really new, but I guess he'll do for now. I don't know. I like Bludgeon. He's pretty vicious. You kind of got a feel for the designers. They kept apologizing for the inaccuracies with Primal Mirage. I don't feel for the designers. It's their job. You should have got it right. Sorry. No, I don't feel for them. I'm not going to feel something for corporate. No thanks. Nuts to that. I can't watch those live streams. I don't know if you guys can. I can't watch them. Mark Marr is more fake than John Warden, which is saying something because John Warden doesn't have a sincere bone in his body. Evan, like, I don't know. Evan strikes me as like he still lives in his mom's basement. I don't know if he does, but like that's how he strikes me. And then the other dude just he doesn't want to be there. He got no passion for it. I don't know. I can't watch him. Maybe you can. Idris Elba would make a great voice for Tigertron. I don't know. I can't think of his voice. I don't know him that well. Mirage will remain a Porsche when I get him. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not getting it just to leave in a car. I'm not wasting, $40 on a trash Mirage. No thanks. That being said, I became really okay with him being a Porsche when it became clear in the movie that like he could pretty much change his alt mode at will, and he cycled through all these different alt modes, and one of them was a race car. And I was like, okay, a race car is in the mix. Might not have been the G1 race car. Might have been more like the Earthrise race car, like a Formula One thing, I believe. But it's in the mix. You know what? I get it now. I get what he's doing. I get his ability. And I was okay with Mirage after that. Cannot wait for Studio Series Primal. Yeah, he does look amazing. He does look fantastic. Most of my movie bots are in alt mode. Interesting. I feel Mirage would be better if it was a case like the Sideways, where you can get a good bot mode and an alt mode that is similarly shaped but not licensed. Maybe. Not sure about Strong Arm. And I think Legacy Inferno has the best beast mode. Yeah, I agree, Jay. Can't wait for Bludgeon. And I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. Ladies, gents, I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. The weekend is upon us. I hope that yours is going to be tremendous. Please like, comment, and share. you know, all of that sort of good stuff. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, use that donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Always doing stuff with products there. Of course, you can hit the join button at any given time. Hit the subscribe button. Please stick around. Have some fun with us. Tell your family, friends, buddy. And last but not least, you right there. Somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way right here inside the, you guessed it, videos.